Good afternoon from Jonesboro, Arkansas, May 11th, 2022. The stock market's been open now 2.5 hours. And who are you listening to? The poorest man you will ever know that follows Wall Street closely. I watch this stuff close. Sometimes I'll spend an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours a day on it. You know, it's just what I do. I enjoy it. To get the disclaimer out of the way, don't listen to me. Do your own research. Don't sue me if you invest in something I'm invested in and you lose all your money, because that's what you get for listening to the poorest person that on the planet that follows Wall Street. Okay, I want to talk about T.RowePrice, which I opened a position on, and I want to talk about Walgreens. But I just want to touch on Carvana first, because they're down another 3.5% today. And I made, I think it was $2,600 or $2,700 on Carvana, which I sold 1.5 or 2 years ago. I know how much, but I have to look and see. But between $2,500, less than $3,000. And I sold for about $75 or so, and I was kicking myself when it went over $300, but I sure am glad I got rid of it now. Down another 4% today, $35 a share. And I want to show you something real quick. I'm going to spend just a minute on Carvana. Look at this. Down 84% over the last 52 weeks. It got as high as $376, as low as $33. Ridiculous. But here's what I really want to show you. Is Carvana a dead company walking? Total cash, $663 million. Debt, $6.8 billion. Look at this debt to equity. 12,987 rounded off. 13,000 rounded off. Their debt to equity is 13 freaking thousand. They owe 13,000 times more money than they have in equity. What are they going to do? Can they survive? Because they still haven't made a profit. Will they survive? I don't know. All right, I made some notes on TRowePrice. Want to look at this. Now, TRowePrice, they were completely, absolutely debt-free forever. I follow them not very close, but I have followed them over the years. They didn't owe anybody any money, which that's hard to find on Wall Street. I love debt-free companies. Pets is a debt-free company. Monster, the Monster drinks, they're a debt-free company, which I don't own any shares of them. I do own shares of Pets. So few you can barely see them. Pets is debt-free. Monster is debt-free. MPX, Marine something, they make boats and boating equipment. They're completely debt-free. Heartland, the trucking company, is completely debt-free. I think last time I looked, all these companies were debt-free. Paychex used to be, but not anymore. But anyway, it's hard to find a debt-free company. Well, T.RowePrice, for some reason, over the last 3 years, has taken out $217 million in loans, even though they have $2 billion in cash. Why would they do that? This may be evidence of why I have no business running a multi-billion-dollar company, because I cannot for the life of me think I would do this, even entertain it for 1/2 of 1 second if I were in charge of T.RowePrice. I don't care if somebody walked in my CEO office and said, "Mr. McFink, here's a $217 million loan, 0% interest from the U.S. government." I'd say, "No, thank you, don't want it." Most people say that's stupid. Why not take a 0% loan? Why would I want it? We have $2 billion in cash. Why worry about it? Why do the paperwork? Why have to think about making that payment? Why think about having to pay it back? We don't need it. That's what I'd be thinking. I don't want it. But anyway, debt to income ratio, 2%. Remember how Carvana was 13,000? Oh man, I don't want to laugh at Carvana's future bankruptcy. I need to edit that laugh out, but I ain't going to do it. 2%. Debt to income ratio. That's like owning a $200,000 house and owing about $4,100 on it. That's still nothing, but they need to write a check and pay this off. They really do. Even if there's an early prepayment penalty, I would pay it off just because I'd want to be debt free if I were T.RowePrice. But anyway, 3.8% dividend yield. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal, 3.8%. Using the rule of 72, it's gonna be you get your money back just in 19 years. 19 years just in dividends using the rule of 72. And of course, that's not going to stay 3.8%. It's going to go up. 36% payout ratio. That means 36% of their earnings are going to dividends. Now look at this. They're averaging 16%. 16% average annual dividend growth over the last 5 years. That is phenomenal. That's a fantastic dividend growth, especially if you consider that only 36% of their payout ratio is going to dividends. One thing that concerns me about pets right now is their payout ratio is around 112%. You can't do that forever. You can't pay out more dividends than you get in earnings very long, but here's something else about being debt-free. When's the last time you ever heard of a debt-free company going bankrupt? I guess it's possible if you can't make your payroll, but if you're debt-free, you can't really go bankrupt, especially if you're a big company like T.RowePrice. PE ratio, 10.2. Love that. That's awesome. And they hit a 52-week low today, May 11th, 2022. Unfortunately, I opened my position the other day for 123.45 sequential numbers. It was around $124 a share, so I put in a position. I put in to buy some shares, and it fell to 123.45. I figured I might as well do it sequential. Why not? But I should have waited, of course. But hindsight's 2020. That's okay. This is for the long term for me. I didn't do a short term thing here. I'm planning on holding T.RowePrice for a while. But it's a great buying opportunity in my opinion. 52-week low today. Bottom line profit increased last year by 30%. Rounded off. 11.3% the previous year. Then 16%, 22.7%, 23.3% the previous years. Look at this. Bottom line profits increasing every year by double digits. Phenomenal. Last year's profit margin. Last year's profit margin, 40.8%. The previous year, 38.2%. I think this is gross profit. I think I forgot to write the word gross. Matter of fact, it would have to be. It would have to be. And look at this. Here's their dividend growth. 76 cents, 90, $1.08, $1.20. Dang, that's pretty good. 3.8% dividend yield. Look at this. 1 year growth, 11.1. 5 year growth, 16.05. Payout ratio, 38. Okay, so what y'all think? I like T.RowePrice. I like them a lot. Enough to open a position of hundreds of dollars, low hundreds. Told y'all I'm poor. Anyway, yeah, when I open a position, it's hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands. Like I have a family member. If you open a position on something recently, it was more like $50,000. Yeah, no wonder he buys my lunch when we go out and eat. I get those T-Rex arms when the check comes. I get those T-Rex arms, hold my arms up here next to my chest and can't move them. But anyway, okay, let's look at Walgreens. Walgreens Boot Association. Now they're getting really close to a 52-week low. They're down 20% over last year, their stock price. It has a 4.34% dividend with a payout ratio of only 26%. That's excellent. Average dividend growth rate since 2018 is 4.6%. Again, very good. And Walgreens, a good, solid company. Its average cash flow growth, though, since 2015, 2.4%. 2.4%. Horrible. But at least it's not negative. It's about as bad as you can get without going into the negatives. 2.4% just, man, it makes my heart sink because these numbers above it are so good. And here's another thing I don't like. But I put far more emphasis on debt than most people do. Most people don't seem to care. But 1.2 billion in cash. Look at the bottom. 1.2 billion in cash. I cannot get this done highlight. And 33.4 billion debt with a debt equity of 127%. But the PE ratio, 5.97. 6 PE ratio is phenomenal. Man, if they didn't have so much debt, if one or two things were true, if they didn't have so much debt, or if their free cash flow was 6%, 8% instead of 2.5%, I would be trying to open a position on this company. But I'm going to pass. But I'm watching the stock price. If it drops much more, I may not have a choice. I may have to, because, man, a 6 PE ratio, it's just so freaking good for an established company. Look at this. 180-day change. Look at that. Look where it was 180 days ago. Down, down, down. It's down to hardly nothing. Let's change this to 60 days. In the last 60 days. Look at this little bitty thing over here. Look at that. 90 days. Terrible. Look right here. Minus 35% off their 200-day moving average. Right here, they hit this low today. Whoa, they fell farther. 116.61. When I started this video, it was at 117. So a new 52-week low day of 116.61. Man, there are so many good buying opportunities out there. If someone doesn't panic in this market, they can make so much freaking money. If you fast forward a couple of years, I really believe that. Walgreens has lost 20%. I think it was 20% in the last year. They're going to get that 20% back. I'm almost certain they're going to. It just depends on how long it's going to be. So if you invest $1,000 now, I would think that you might get to. Okay, if I were to invest $1,000, I would think that I would make 20% minimum on that, going forward at some point. And I'm going to say within a year, but I don't know. It's just a guess. Again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't own a crystal ball. But if I did own a crystal ball, it would probably tell me I would get that money back. This right here, this 36% return. If I had a crystal ball, it would probably be telling me I'm going to get that money back. And I am. It just depends on how long it's going to take. I'm going to say 1 to 2 years. But just a guess. And in that meantime, I can collect this dividend. All right, that's enough. That's enough bloviating. I cannot keep it pithy. It's almost impossible. Probably 90% of you have done signed off by now. The other 10%, thanks for sticking around. I'm done. Bye!